Okay, what's going on here is the old bushing that was in there. It broke free. It tried to weld it. This is I'd imagine this is a Chinese bumper. Most of them are. The welds all broke free on this thing. I've already fished it out and cleaned it up a bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another bushing out of the same material, but I've cut it longer. It's going to go in, and I'm going to open up a hole down here around this red dot area, and that bushing I want it to come all the way through. That way it can be welded on top and it can be welded on the bottom. And I'm also going to two-ply this end of the bumper. I'll be plating it and plating it here, and I might plate it here also. We'll decide as we go along. And we're going to try to fortify this whole corner. That way it can hold the gate. Where is that gate anyways? Oh, it's over here. Here's the gate that someone made out of 3x2 square tubing. And by how heavy it is, it might be 3/16 wall, which is way too heavy of a material. It's unnecessary. Yeah, that looks like that's definitely 3/16 wall. Anyways, this gate's way overbuilt, but we're going to use it, and we're going to make it functional again. We'll also build a support pad underneath it that's going to ride on the bumper, probably around in this area. So we're going to have this gate is going to be not only supported by the spindle, but when it's closed, it's going to be setting all the weight and leverage down in here, or we may even make another leg that comes out and supports farther, but I think to look cleaner, it's going to be down in here. Trying to figure out where I want to drill that hole saw through. I'm going to drill a hole saw hole, and then I'm going to hog it out with a die grinder, creep up to this, just work my way right up to that size where this bushing can drop through all the way, top and bottom. I just don't want to get some goofy hole that doesn't match, to where it makes a lot of work for me filling in with welding. I'm going to try to get that hole as tight as can. Definitely not the sharpest bit in the world. We'll have to use another method. A little peek where we ended up. Okay. Get a good idea where I need to open it up the rest of the way, because I went with an undersized hole saw. It is hard to guesstimate exactly where you need to drill on an angle like that down here. So part of it's just guessing. I could have done a little better, but that's okay. Okay, we got it to where the bushing will drop through. I just got to fine tune it. I got to get these metal shavings off my body. That type of bit right there throws metal slivers really bad. Lots of them. I'm not sure how good this is going to show up on camera, but you notice I have the square back there. That is for sighting the in and the out of this bushing. I purposely left this bushing too long, and I'll shave it down later. I'll cut it later once I get this right, because this hole down here is not perfect yet. When it goes through, you can see that this edge of the bushing is not running parallel with that square. I'm squaring it to the bumper. The Jeep is on a little crooked, a little nose high on the lift, so I hope you can see that okay there. The top is too far leaning to the right of the screen. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to shave that bottom hole and get me a little more clearance so I can run it this way a little more. That way I can sight it straight across to the square. Okay, we're pretty much square now. Now you know why I made this thing extra long. Keep nibbling away at it till you... It's looking good enough to weld. I'm going to put a plate over this to cover that up. This way this bottom of the spindle is actually attached to this bumper now. Before it was just welded on the top. And it basically started rocking side to side inside the bumper until it just completely failed. And it came out along with the spare tire in the gate. Just remembered I need to hole saw a hole in this piece before I make it so tiny that it's hard to work with. It's pretty close to center. Damn, that didn't feel good. Oh, God, that's that hurt. Well, I'm going slow on purpose on this because it'll keep the heat down on that bit. We don't want to smoke that thing and dull it. You get them too hot and they'll dull out real quick, but if you go nice and slow, they stay a lot cooler and they last longer. That wasn't fun. Tools can be vicious when used improperly. This isn't the most safe tool, but it's very effective. Work with me and you'll see a world of OSHA violations. Okay, I got a little plate made for the bottom. It's going to go right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack on a piece of scrap. I'm going to tack this piece of scrap on the bottom, just so when I drop that bushing down in there, it doesn't drop past. I can't weld this plate on yet, because I want to weld the bottom of the bushing. That's why I'm going to tack this on, then I'm going to tack the top of the bushing, then I'll pull this off, weld the bottom of the bushing, and then put the cover on to hide all the ugliness. So I guess I better get a couple tacks on this. That's all we need. I have this bushing slid around a piece of chromoly, just to so I can line it up better. Makes it a little easier to handle too. It'll also simulate the gate, the tailgate hinge angle. Gotta get my square. Oops. Everything's in the way. Okay, now I'm going to tack the top of the bushing. I'll just do it in two spots will be fine. Then I'll pull that bottom piece. Pull my windshield back over. Never try to MIG weld in the wind. It's not too windy at the moment, but the breeze has been kicking up and down here. I think I tacked part of my chromoly on there. I'm going to cut that off. There we go. Yeah, I sure did. Oops. Okay, so we got the outside welded up, and I put a tin shield in between the bumper and the Jeep body there, so I don't roast the paint here, and that worked out real well. And I know I'm not a welder by trade, but you can make fun of it in the comments if you want. But anyways, I left a hole in the bottom for water and dirt to get out, otherwise this thing will collect. I still got a few boogers to get off of this thing, and it'll look better after it's painted. The bottom piece it's in, and there's the hole, It's the edge is all welded on the bushing there, so nothing's going to come loose. And that should be a heck of a lot stronger than what it was factory. Next, we're going to install the gate, and then over here, around in this area, we'll be building that pad that supports the gate. That way, that's going to support when you slam this shut. If you want something like this to last, you're going to have something down at this end supporting the weight of the tire. So some of these gates have a latch way over here, which is a good design, and that way it supports the weight way over here. The way this gate is already made, that gate on the table, the way it's already designed and made, this pad's going to go right about here, directly underneath the center. And we'll update you on that. Where I believe I got an idea of putting a Teflon where it slams. I want it to slam and ride up on it. So I'm probably going to have a Teflon skid here, and so it'll open and close easier instead of going metal to metal, which is kind of Neanderthal. So we're just going to try a Teflon skid. I don't have the parts for that yet, but we're going to dream it up as we go. Anyways, there it is. Okay, we're going to get caught up on where we're at. What I did here is I took some 1/4-inch Teflon and I put it right there. I have a sheet of it over here, and it's pretty easy to work with. You can cut it with a cut-off wheel or a saw. I had to double stack it to get the height I needed, and I countersunk these 5/16 18 thread. I tapped right in, drilled and tapped right into that bumper, so it's held down real nice. And on the bottom of the gate, I basically did the same thing, and I had to shim it with a little piece of 3/16 steel here. I don't know how good you can see that. This thing focusing, it should be focusing, yeah. There's a lot of dust on here from sanding the Teflon. There's a little 3/16, another piece of 1/4, and now it supports over here, and it's going to support the weight of the tire above rather than putting the whole load on the spindle over here. So this is going to be a big improvement. Now I have to build a little Heim latch, like they had one on here before. I'm just going to make it a little bit better. That way this will open with the tailgate. That's what we're going for. We want it to swing with the tailgate instead of having to put a pin and open up two things to get in the back. We're going to try to make it to where it's just grab the handle, open the tailgate, and they both come. That's what we're shooting for. But I'm going to put a piece of metal across here. I'm going across all three of these holes. There's holes behind this tape. This is just duct tape here. And what I'm doing is I have to transfer these hole locations over onto a piece of steel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Sharpie. See, I've got it dimpled in where the one hole is. Yeah, I think you can see that okay. It's pretty cloudy today, not much light. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Sharpie and I'm going to fill in the dimple. There's one. There's the other right there. And here's the other one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel this off, and then I'm going to stick it onto the piece of steel. Then I'm going to take a center punch after it's stuck to the piece of steel, and I'm going to punch it in the center of that dot, punch it there, and punch it there. That way you know right where to drill your holes. That way when you put that piece of steel up there, all three of them are going to line up. It's an easy method, and it works well. Also had to cut a little relief in here so the hinge right here will have clearance when you open it. I mean, there's plenty of clearance right now. Right now there's plenty of clearance, but when you open this gate, you open the gate, as you can see, the hinge goes into the gate now. Anyways, there we go. That's where we're at so far, and we'll get you a finished product here coming up. We'll get a little footage of the finished stuff, but it's coming out real well. The owner seems to like it so far, but that should be really durable, and it should support the weight of that oversized tire. Okay, we got the finished product. I missed a few stages here on the filming because my battery my battery had gone dead, but we got this all back together over here. The Teflon pads are all installed. This bracket here is the one that I laid that tape on, and it's just basically this is a 3/16 by 1.5 inch, I believe, material. Not the same as that. This is a little wider. Oh, here it is right here. This material right here, I just laid the tape right on there, and I center punched through the tape to mark my holes, and so they lined up perfect with the Jeep tailgate. And you can use this old rusty stuff like this, just clean it up real well, and it'll weld nice, and it'll paint nice. It's just a rattle can finish on the paint, primer and paint, so, you know, not too fancy on the paint. The Heim joint works out nice, new tab here. And what's really nice about this is you don't have to pull any pins or anything to get the tailgate to open. The spare will come with it. The spare swings out with it. The Heim joint rotates as it needs. And had to do a little cutaway right down here. Little cutaway on this tubing to make some clearance for the hinge. That way it would open up far enough for the windshield to and the antenna to clear. But it seems to be working out okay. And the owner is going to come pick it up today. And now, see, when it closes, it rides up on the Teflon right there. So this is it. This is finished product. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like it, and leave any comments you want to. Make some fun of my welding, whatever you want. I'm not a welder by trade, but I try. And this is going to work out okay. And you guys have a good day. We'll catch you next time.